First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Yahweh, in the name of the Heavenly Father, Bahashem, in the name of Yahweh Shai, in the name of Yahweh's only begotten Son, and our Lord and Savior, also who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, Bahashem Rakakodash, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the elect that scattered abroad to the four corners of the earth, which are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. And shalom to you speckled birds and you Israelite foreigners that scatter out in other nations that look like other nations, but are in fact Israelites. And the topic of this lesson is, pretty much going to be centered around, the coming persecution, us Israelites, being accused for being anti-Semitic, for being so-called terrorists, so on and so forth, and we could see that, that's definitely on the horizon with, everything that's been coming out, in the recent weeks and whatnot, as of lately, and what typically made me want to go ahead and get into this lesson is because of a video that was just recently posted earlier, from the brother GMS Watchman. Let me go to his channel right quick. Salakia. All right, boom. GMS Watchman. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe to it. Great edification that comes out on this channel. But here's the video, that, pretty much prompted me to go ahead and go into this lesson, when it goes into how the FBI and the ADL, they pretty much had a summit or a meeting, to talk about the growing anti-Semitism, and the hate that's growing. All right, so here's the video right here.
In a time of rising anti-Semitism, the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, hosting here in New York City today its annual Never Is Now Summit against anti-Semitism and hate. Amongst the guest speakers here today, FBI Director Christopher Wray and actor David Schwimmer of Friends fame, who's taking part in a roundtable discussion on fighting anti-Semitism and hate. Some seminars going on right now pertaining to fighting Jew hatred on social media, building partnerships and alliances, and also protecting Jewish institutions, especially important in light of that threat earlier this month against synagogues in northern New Jersey. The suspect in that case, coincidentally, was arrested today. We spoke with Evan Bernstein, a Jewish security expert, about that threat earlier this month and the reaction to it.
I think it's about constantly being on alert. It's a shame that we're in the position we are, and I think we saw that last week with New Jersey, and then what happened even in Birmingham, Alabama, that at any moment, any time, any community can be impacted by anti-Semitism and hate, and we have to be on alert at all moments of time because we don't know when that's going to happen. It's not just going to be the high holidays. It may not even be on a regular Shabbat, so that alert awareness has to always be there.
There's also a discussion right now about quote-unquote new anti-Semitic threats, including the ESG movement, environmental, social, and governance movement, which encourages investment in companies that are doing things on the social justice front, the environmental front, but what many critics say is a backdoor to BDS and anti-Israel activity. Now, earlier today, the ADL announced the acquisition of a Jewish investor network called JLens, which has been at the forefront of exposing anti-Israel and anti-Semitic activity in the ESG movement. We spoke to the head of JLens about that acquisition.
We're so excited to be part of ADL. It's a great opportunity for JLens to scale our work and our impact and take it to the next level. We've worked with ADL for many years. We collaborate on a lot of issues around the corporate space, and it'll help both of our efforts in this area. JLens will get the scale, the resources of ADL, the reputation, and ADL will get all the expertise that JLens brings from the investor space, the corporate advocacy arena.
Later on today, we'll speak with the head of the ADL, Jonathan Greenblatt. That interview will air on I-24 coming up next week. Reporting from the ADL Summit here in New York, Mike Wagenheim, I-24 News.
All right, so boom, there you have it. As you've seen from this video, these devils, the FBI, so on and so forth, the government, they're about to start, cracking down and on those that, are opposing, threats against, these small hats and whatnot, those that are deemed as, anti-Semitic and so on and so forth, they're finna start, cracking down, and that's typically what this article right here is about. It goes more in depth, from what you've seen in that video. All right, so I'm gonna just, bring out this article. Then I'm gonna bring out a couple other articles in this lesson as well. Then I'm gonna get into the scriptures. All right, Lord willing, this lesson won't be too long, and Lord willing, you're edified. But the title of this article is "Arrest Made in New Jersey: Synagogue Threat as FBI Director Decrees Anti-Semitism." All right, so let's scroll down. New York, an 18-year-old New Jersey man has been arrested and accused of using social media to send a manifesto that contained threats to attack a synagogue and Jewish people in the state, authorities said Thursday. The threats last week prompted the FBI's Newark office to issue an unusual warning on Twitter urging Jewish leaders to take security precautions to protect their communities. New Jersey law enforcement officials said the next day that they had identified a suspect and that the individual no longer posed a threat. On Thursday, the U.S. Attorney's Office in New Jersey and said Omar Alcoto, I'm probably butchering his last name, but it is what it is, had been charged with one count of transmitting a threat in the interstate and foreign commerce. Alcoto allegedly wrote in the manifesto that he targeted Jewish people because they promote the biggest hatred against Muslimin, which is the Arabic word for Muslims. As the Justice Department announced the arrest, FBI Director Christopher A. Wray was at a conference in New York denouncing a recent surge of anti-Semitic acts across the country, saying the federal law enforcement agency is hitting back at full force against domestic and foreign threats targeting American Jews. All right, so as you see, the stage is being set, for those, to pretty much target those that's deemed as a threat against these small hats and whatnot, and ultimately, they're going to start pointing the finger at, brothers in this truth. You know what I'm saying? When all we do is just read the Bible and that's it. We let the scriptures condemn these devils. You know what I'm saying? We ain't out here attacking these devils. We let the scriptures condemn them. But it is what it is. It's prophecy, and prophecy must come to pass. All right, but let's continue. Wray addressed more than 1,000 people at the Never Is Now Summit hosted by the Anti-Defamation League, an organization created to fight anti-Semitism and extremism that has tracked anti-Semitic incidents since 1979. The group says anti-Semitic acts in the country have tripled over the past 6 years. The FBI director, who did not mention the arrest, said Thursday morning that Jewish people continue to face repeated violence and very real threats. We at the FBI see up close day in and day out the actions that hatred derives, Wray said. To combat the rise in incidents, Wray said the FBI has dispatched more agents and analysts to work hate crime cases across the country. In 2019, the FBI established the Domestic Terrorism Hate Crimes Fusion Cell, which addresses the intersection of domestic terrorism and hate crimes. 63% of religious hate crimes in the country target Jewish people, who make up 2.4% of the American population, Wray said. His speech cited several attacks against Jewish people who have occurred since Wray took over the FBI in 2017, including a shooting at the Pittsburgh Tree of Life Synagogue in 2018 that left 11 people dead. There are too many grim examples to choose from, he said, citing a shooting at a synagogue near San Diego that killed one congregant and wounded 3 others in 2019. Earlier this year, Wray noted a man took congregants hostage at a Texas synagogue, apparently motivated by his anger over the U.S. imprisonment of a Pakistani woman held in federal prison in Fort Worth for trying to kill U.S. soldiers. It demonstrates the tragic reality that the Jewish community unequally ends up on the receiving end of hate-fueled attacks from all sides, Ray said. And I venture to say no community feels more threatened by that boiling over into violence than yours. The Anti-Defamation League conducts training at the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum for all new FBI special agents and intelligence analysis. Ray told the group, he said the agents and analysis learn how widespread anti-Semitism is about people's willingness to turn hate into action. Ray's speech kicked off a day-long summit on anti-Semitism at the Javits Center in New York. Other speakers included actor David Schwimmer and Rep. Liz Cheney. All right, so that's that on that. And as you see, like I said, these devils are finna try to start cracking down on those that's posing a threat to these small hats. They're gonna start deeming, brothers as, anti-Semitic, terrorists, as a threat to these small hats, so on and so forth. And as I already said, it's part of prophecy. Persecution must come to the house of Israel, specifically the elect. All right. And I'm going to get into the scriptures, showing that, later on this lesson. All right. But from here, I want to get into another article that I came across earlier. And it's pretty much goes into how, they're trying to get the book Hebrews to Negroes and the film, taken down off of Amazon and Barnes & Noble. All right. And the title of the article is Over 200 Entertainment Leaders Urge Amazon, Barnes & Noble to drop anti-Semitic title. All right. And they're talking about the Hebrews to Negroes book and film. All right. And, something I noticed, it's off topic, but it's very spiritual. You know what I'm saying? If you look the day that it came out, November 10th, 2022, and look at the time, 1:44 p.m. All right. And those of you that know the scriptures, what 1:44 is symbolic of. All right. The 144,000 men that's of the nation of Israel, to make that clear, that's going to be sealed. All right. So that's neither here nor there, but I just wanted to point that out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this article right quick. And it says more than 200 entertainment leaders, including household name stars, have urged Amazon and Barnes & Noble to stop selling an anti-Semitic title, warning executives that they are profiting from hate. All right. And if you just simply read the book, or you watch the film, there's nothing hate-filled about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just simply letting our people know who they truly are, according to the Bible, according to history, archaeology, so on and so forth. What their real problem is that this book is getting so much attention to the point it's waking up a lot of our people in large numbers. All right. And their real fear is that the elect is going to get sealed, and ultimately that's going to bring the downfall of their world, their society. All right. And our world is going to start, But let's continue. Hebrews to Negroes, a book and film, has recently seen a surge of purchases after it was promoted on social media by NBA star Kyrie Irving, boosting it to bestseller list on Amazon and drawing pressure from Jewish groups to remove the titles. All right. So these celebrities and so on and so forth, they're trying to get these titles removed off of Amazon and Barnes & Noble. All right, let's continue. In an open letter to Jeff Bezos, James Daunt, and other leaders at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, the signatories noted that despite private messages and public calls to take the fallacious book and movie off their sites, you have so far refused to act. Your companies are profiting from hate, accused the letter published by the nonprofit entertainment industry organization Creative Community for Peace. It warned that the titles were causing tremendous harm to the Jewish community while spreading dangerous misinformation to an impressionable public that may be susceptible to its propaganda. All right. And nobody has a propaganda but these damn devils, these small hats. They want to keep people believing that they're the true people of the true chosen of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. all right? And they're just simply afraid that their skirt is going to be lifted. They're going to be exposed for the devils that they are, and they're ultimately afraid that, you know, our people are going to wake up and whatnot. You know, that's why they're trying to take drastic measures to, you know, get this book, you know, removed off of Amazon and Barnes & Noble. All right. But let's say if it does get removed, you know, this truth is still going to get pushed. You know, as it said in, I believe, 1 Corinthians, you cannot do nothing against the truth but for the truth, you know. So take it off if you want. This truth is still going to go out, you know what I'm saying? You know, and our people are going to continue to wake up. You know, it's prophecy, and you can't stop it. All right. Let's continue. These works promote numerous anti-Semitic tropes and conspiracy theories that have no bias in fact, and that's a damn lie. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty facts and information out there proving that, you know, we are the true biblical Israelites and you are the damn frauds you are. All right. Including manufactured Hitler quotes, false claims of Jewish power and control, you know, and that's true. These small hats, they have their hand in everything, all the way from your big companies, you know, Facebook, Instagram, you know, so on and so forth, all the way to the transatlantic slave trade. All right. These devils funded that. You know, they funded the boats, you know, they have their hands in everything, you know, but they're trying to cover that up. All right. You know, that's why they're trying their best to get this book taken off and this film taken off Amazon and Barnes & Noble. All right. Let's continue. That the Jewish people fabricate the Holocaust and that the Jewish people are fake Jews, which indeed they are, you know. And if they take this video down, you know, it is what it is, you know. But let's continue. The claims made in these works have led to the persecution and murder of millions of Jews throughout the centuries. Noting that in the U.S., there are more per capita hate crimes against Jews than any other minority, overwhelmingly more religious-based hate crimes against the Jewish people than any other religion. It declared it was unacceptable to allow this type of hate to foment on your platforms. As of Thursday, the titles are no longer appeared to be available on Barnes & Noble and on Barnes & Noble's website. All right, so I guess Barnes & Noble ended up taking it down, but, you know, it's still up there on Amazon. All right, you know, but, you know, even if Amazon decides to take it down, you know, this truth is still going to get pushed out, you know, and our people going to continue to wake up, and the elect is going to be sealed regardless. And that's what these devils are ultimately afraid of. All right. You know, I believe that was really that on that. You know, this article is pretty long. If you want to read it for yourself, go right ahead. You know what I'm saying? But you got the gist of everything that was pretty much said. You know, these celebrities and, you know, these devils, they're pretty much, you know, they're trying their best to hide this truth, you know, to put a stop to this word getting out, you know, and there's nothing you could do against the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Our people are going to continue to wake up, and this society is going to collapse whether they like it or not. You know, these devils are going to get exposed whether they like it or not. All right. But, you know, that's that on that. I got one more thing I want to bring out, you know, and I said I was going to bring it out on how, you know, they're pretty much deeming us as terrorists and whatnot, you know, as a hate group, so on and so forth, you know. And this is a PDF that our brother, you know, sent me, you know, I think it was like a couple weeks ago, you know, and I've been debating on making a lesson on it, you know, and now I found the perfect opportunity to go ahead and bring it out. All right. And the name, or the title, or the name of this PDF, you know, is pretty much this. It's not even the name, but, you know, this is what it says. The attached analysis entitled Project Megiddo, I'm probably mispronouncing that, is an FBI strategic assessment of the potential for domestic terrorism in the United States, undertaken in anticipation of or response to the arrival of the new millennium. All right. And as you see, when you go to the table of contents, all right, you know, Black Hebrew Israelites is listed, you know. And just to make one thing clear, we're not Black Hebrew Israelites, you know. You got brothers and sisters that's, you know, many shades in this thing, you know. You got brothers and sisters that look like damn Edomites, you know what I'm saying? But they are Israelites, you know. So, you know, you got brothers that are and sisters that are so-called Hispanics, you know, Native Americans, you know, Seminole Indians, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, so on and so forth. You know, so to say that we are Black Hebrew Israelites, you know, that's a you know, a false title. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, it is what it is. The point is that, you know, you see that Black Hebrew Israelites are listed as one of these quote unquote extremists, you know, or quote unquote terrorists. All right. So, you know, I want to just bring this out a little bit. You know, it says it's on page 23. All right, so let's go ahead and scroll down to it right quick. All right, and it says Black Hebrew Israelites. And I believe this PDF was made, you know, many years ago, you know what I'm saying? But it still stands because to this day, they're still calling us, you know, terrorists and, you know, a hate group, so on and so forth, you know? But, you know, it says, as the millennium approaches, radical fringe members of the Black Hebrew Israelite BHI movement may pose a challenge for law enforcement, as with the adherents of most apocalyptic philosophies. Certain segments of the BHI movement have the potential to engage in violence at the turn of the century. This movement has been associated with extreme acts of violence. All right, there you have it. You know, they're pretty much trying to accuse us of, you know, of being violent, you know, so on and so forth, you know. As the scripture says, you know, Esau Edom, you know, he's the accuser of the brethren, all right? And you can clearly see that by what we're reading right now. All right, let's continue. This movement has been associated with with extreme acts of violence in the recent past. And current intelligence from a variety of sources indicates that extreme factions of BHI groups are preparing for a race war to close the millennium. All right. You know, and that's, you know, when we talk about race wars, you know, that's not something that, you know, we're going to start. You know what I'm saying? You know, ultimately, yes, it's going to be a race war, but that's not something that we're going to initiate. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Violent BHI followers can generally be described as proponents of an extreme form of black supremacy. Drawing upon the teachings of earlier BHI adherents, such groups hold that blacks represent God's chosen people, while condemning whites as incarnate manifestations of evil, right? And, you know, this is not just a quote-unquote black and white thing, you know what I'm saying? Because number one, like I said, you know, this is not a Black Hebrew Israelite movement. You know, you got brothers and sisters that look like the other nations in this thing, of course, you know? And then number two, you know, we don't just go in on Esau Edom. You know, we go on all these other nations outside of Israel, you know? Ishmael, so-called Arabs, Ham, so-called Africans, Moab, so-called Chinese, Ammon, Japanese, so on and so forth. You know, you get the point. You know what I'm saying? You know, Esau Edom is the main enemy, of course, but, you know, it's not just a black and white thing as they're trying to make it seem, okay? But let's get back to it. It says, hold on, Salaki, I'm trying to remember where I was at. I believe it was at the second paragraph. Violent BHI followers can generally be described as proponents of an extreme form of black supremacy. Drawing upon the teachings of earlier BHI adherents, such groups hold that blacks represents God's chosen people, while condemning whites as incarnate manifestations of evil. As God's authentic Jews, Black Hebrew Israelite adherents believe that mainstream Jews are actually imposters, and that's facts. You know, they are. You know, such beliefs bear a striking resemblance to the Christianity theology practiced by many white supremacists. In fact, Tom Metzger, whatever his name is, renowned white supremacist, once remarked they are the black counterpart of us. Like their Christian identity counterparts, militant BHI followers tend to see themselves as divinely endowed by God with superior status. As a result, some followers of this belief system hold that violence, including murder, is justifiable in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem, of God. All right, that's what they call it. And that's according to the scriptures. In certain cases, yes. You know what I'm saying? If you a damn sodomite, you got to get put to death. All right. If you commit adultery, you got to get put to death. All right. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. Let's continue. Provided that it helps to rid the world of evil. Violent BHI groups are of particular concern as the millennium approaches because they believe in the inevitability of a race war between blacks and whites. All right, and there you go again. They're pretty much trying to paint this as a black and white thing, and as I already said, that the race war isn't something that we're going to initiate. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. The extreme elements of BHI movement are prone to engage in violent activity. You see the picture that they're trying to paint of us. They're trying to portray us as, violent people. All right. As seen in previous convictions of BHI followers, adherents of this philosophy have proven history of violence, and several indications point toward a continuation of this trend. Some BHI followers have been observed in public donning primarily black clothing. All right, you already know who they're talking about when they say black clothing. All right, they're talking about ISUPK. All right, because they're the main ones that's out here dressed in all black. All right, with emblems and or patches bearing the Star of David symbol. Some BHI members practice paramilitary operations and wear web belts and shoulder holsters. Some adherents have extensive criminal records for a variety of violations, including weapons charges, assault, drug trafficking, and fraud. All right, so there you have it. They're steady trying to paint this picture of us to be some type of terrorist, or violent, so on and so forth. Let's continue a little bit longer. I'm gonna just get this last paragraph right quick. Then I'm gonna just end it because it goes on and on, but you get the point of what I've been trying to bring out. The picture that they're trying to paint of us is that we're terrorists, so on and so forth. We're violent, this, that, and another, and that's completely false. All we do is just simply read the Bible. How violent is that? All right, but it is what it is. It's just going to bring forth the persecution which is prophesied. All right, but this is the last paragraph I'm gonna bring out, and it says, in law enforcement circles, BHI groups are typically associated with violence and criminal activity, largely as a result of the movement's popularization by Yahweh Ben Yahweh, formerly known as Hulan Mitchell Jr., and the Miami-based nation of Yahweh NOI. In reality, the origins of the BHI movement are non-violent, while the BHI belief system may have roots in the United States as far back as the Civil War era. The movement became more recognized as a result of the teachings of an individual known as Ben Ami Ben Israel, aka Ben Carter, from the south side of Chicago. Ben Israel claims to have had a vision at the age of 27, hearing a voice tell me that the time had come for Africans in America, the descendants of the biblical Israelites, to return to the land of our forefathers, Ben Israel persuaded a group of Africans to accompany him to Israel in 1967, teaching the African Americans descended from the biblical tribe of Judah, therefore that Israel is the land of their birthright. Ben Israel and his followers initially settled in Liberia for the purposes of cleansing themselves of bad habits. In 1969, a small group of BHI followers left Liberia for Israel, with Ben Israel and the remaining original migrants arriving in Israel the following year. Public source estimates the BHI community in Israel number between 1,500 to 3,000. Despite promoting nonviolence, members of Ben Israel's movement have shown willingness to engage in criminal activity. All right, so, I'm not even going to get the rest of this. You get the point. You know what I'm saying? These devils have been trying to paint us out to be terrorists and violent for many years now, all right? And, we see that, with everything that's been going on recently, it's finna heat up. All right, these devils are finna get ready to come down with great wrath on those that fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna bring out some scriptures. I'm gonna close this lesson out. All right, so let's go ahead and get. First, I want to get Revelation 2 and 9. All right, and most of you, that's in this truth. You already know what this scripture goes into. This goes into how these people are truly frauds, all right? So this is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. It says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. All right, now who is that referring to? That's referring to these damn small ass that's portraying to be the children of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right. So, that right there shows that, somebody's lying. All right. And it ain't us because we fit prophecy more so than them, But let's continue. All right. Let's go to Revelation chapter 7. And we're going to start at verse 1 and we're going to read down to verse 8. All right. Because ultimately this is what they're afraid of. This is why they've taken drastic measures to, try to, get this word from getting out, like taking the book and the film off of Amazon, so on and so forth. Salakia got strangled for a minute. But, that's why they're taking, drastic measures to try to get the film and the book taken off of Amazon and whatnot, because they're afraid of the elect being sealed. All right, so this is Revelation chapter 7, and let's start at verse 1. It says, after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, or any tree. All right, so pretty much this is going into how there are angels, holding back, the destruction. The wind is pretty much symbolic, synonymous with, destruction. All right. So let's continue. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. All right. So pretty much these 4 angels, they have the power to either hurt the earth and, to hold back the winds, hold back destruction, so on and so forth. Verse 3, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. All right. So, destruction isn't going to come into the servants, the elect is sealed, so to speak. All right. And ultimately, like I said, that's what these devils are afraid of. That's why these devils are taking drastic measures to, to try to hide the truth, to try to paint us in a bad light. So, we'll just be seen as, conspiracy theorists or, anti-Semitic, so on and so forth. All right. Let's continue. Verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. All right, this is only dealing with Israel. You know what I'm saying? The 144,000, it only consists of Israelites. All right, point blank, period. Verse 5. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Nephilim, which is Naphtali, were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. All right. Verse 9. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of the all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and psalms in their hands. All right, so pretty much, the point that I was trying to bring out is that destruction isn't going to come to the earth until the elect is sealed. The 144,000. All right, and ultimately this is why Esau, Edom, so-called white man, these small hats, they're taking drastic measures to try to hide this truth and whatnot. That's why they're trying to deem people like Kyrie Irving and Kanye West as anti-Semitic. You know what I'm saying? That's why they been calling us, for many years, a hate group, terrorist, anti-Semitic, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? This is the lengths that they're trying to go to try to, hide the truth and try to paint us in a bad light. All right. So people won't pay attention to us, But as I said, prophecy is going to be fulfilled regardless. You can't do nothing for the truth, but you cannot do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. All right. So let's continue. Let's go ahead and get Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12 right quick. All right. And it says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right. And this is what you are seeing right now. The stage is being set, for these devils to come down with great wrath, specifically on you blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. He's about to come down with great wrath. He's finna persecute, the elect. All right. The whole nation of Israel in a whole, but specifically the elect. Okay. And this is part of prophecy. Prophecy must be fulfilled, So I'm going to correlate that, with a couple more precepts, and I'm going to close this lesson out. All right. And Salakia. I believe, okay, here we go. Yeah, I was looking for 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and starting at verse 70. All right, and we're gonna read down at verse 73. Okay, and it says, "For there shall be in every place, and there shall be in every place, and in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." All right, so there's going to be a great insurrection on those that fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right, verse 71. "They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai." All right, and as you see, this is correlating to what we just read about in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. All right, the devil coming down with great wrath. All right, let's continue. Verse 72. "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses." Verse 73 is the point. All right, and it says, "Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold is tried as gold in the fire." All right, so this is clearly talking about the persecution that's going to be coming coming upon the elect, all right? You know, it's going to come upon the whole nation of Israel and as a whole, but specifically the elect, all right? You know, in that day, it's going to be obvious to see, you know, who's the Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is chosen, all right? You know what I'm saying? Because the elect is going to be able to endure through all of this. You know, the elect is going to make it through, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to you brothers and you sisters out there that scattered to the four corners of the earth. You know, I just got home from the plantation, so Salakia, you know, if, you know, this lesson was you know, a little unorganized, or so to speak, but yeah, Lord willing, you are still edified anyways. And with that being said, as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to you brothers out there pushing this truth and sincerity. Shalom.